Good evening, and it's great to have you with us here on a Wednesday night. And we begin with fast-moving developments after the terror attack in a Christmas market overseas. And tonight, the concern right here at home. A new joint federal bulletin out today, including the NYPD, the FBI, and Homeland Security. The call to all of those agencies to be especially vigilant, writing of their concern over possible lone wolves, mentioning Times Square and New Year's Eve celebrations. Of course, millions of people will gather in Times Square. They say there is no specific credible threat, but that they are concerned. ABC's Lindsay Davis leads us off from Times Square tonight.
After the horror of that Christmas market attack in Berlin, the truck plowing into that market, tonight here in the U.S., that urgent joint bulletin issued just today. The target, Times Square, the annual massive New Year's Eve celebration. Each year, a strong police presence during the event. This year, authorities warned there are no specific threats, but they, quote, remain concerned about unaffiliated lone offenders and homegrown violent extremists targeting the event, writing they are particularly concerned due to, quote, their ability to remain undetected until operational and willingness to attack civilians and soft targets, their ability to exploit increased crowd density to perpetrate a mass casualty event. The bulletin goes on to cite the recent terror attacks in San Bernardino, Orlando, and Nice.
And Lindsay Davis with us live tonight from Times Square. And Lindsay, I do want to reiterate what we said at the top, that this bulletin does not list a specific credible threat, but they are concerned tonight, warning law enforcement to be vigilant and for Americans to be vigilant across this country.
Exactly. They want everyone to be particularly vigilant. It's estimated that 1 million people are going to crowd right into this area in Times Square a little more than a week from now to watch the ball drop. David.
Lindsay Davis leading us off tonight. Lindsay, thank you. All of this comes, of course, as Lindsay reported there after that terror attack overseas. A truck hijacked, the original driver killed, then the truck, of course, plowing into that Christmas market. Well, tonight, the urgent hunt now for a suspect considered armed and dangerous. A warrant has been issued in Germany and all across Europe for the arrest of this man, an asylum seeker believed to have ties to radicals. Tonight, German officials say they had been tracking him for months. And now the obvious question, if he was in trouble before, how did he slip through? ABC's Matt Gupman, again from Berlin.
Tonight, a Europe-wide dragnet for this man, 24-year-old Anis Amri of Tunisia. Germany warning he could be armed and dangerous. According to a German lawmaker, Amri's wallet and ID were found in the cab of that battered semi-truck after it bulldozed through this crowded Berlin Christmas market, crushing stalls, killing 11 and injuring dozens more. Amri was long on the radar of German terror officials. Today, the AP obtaining this alert going out to international police, noting he has used 6 aliases in 3 countries. He came to Germany in 2015 seeking asylum, but it was denied. Officials concerned about his ties to radical Islamists and allegations of petty crime. Germany then tried to deport him, but he didn't have the paperwork to prove he was Tunisian, and so he stayed. According to the AP, German authorities had him under surveillance until September, after getting a tip he was trying to obtain weapons for an attack. Today, police searching this home for refugees where he's believed to have stayed. Police aren't saying Amri drove the truck into the market. That semi believed to have been hijacked just hours before the attack, as its driver was hauling steel beams from Italy to Germany. That driver seen on the surveillance camera at a diner after calling his wife. His dead body was found in the battered truck, German officials saying he'd been shot, but no gun was found on the scene. The attack jarring Germany and its stoic Chancellor Angela Merkel. She's being increasingly challenged for her decision to welcome more than 1 million migrants. Tonight, protected by cordons of police and riot gear, members of Germany's far right gathered near the site of the attack.
The voice you hear behind me is from a neo-Nazi group, and past this line of dozens and dozens of officers to keep the peace, there is a pro-immigration rally that is far larger.
In other parts of Berlin, a different response to the tragedy. The city's famed Christmas markets open once again. Cranes placing these concrete barriers at the Alexanderplatz market. Protection should the unthinkable happen again.
And Matt Gupman joined us live again tonight from Berlin. And Matt, I want to get back to this fast-moving investigation. The suspect was on their radar for months?
That's right, David. German officials saying they were conducting surveillance on Amri for months, but for some reason called it off in September. Last spoke about him in November. After that, silence until the attack. And as that manhunt continues for him, German officials here at the site of the attack say they've wrapped up their investigation. That market opens up again in the morning. David.
Matt Gutman with us again tonight. Thanks, Matt. And President-elect Donald Trump asked about the terror overseas. He did emerge briefly after an intelligence meeting at his Mar-a-Lago resort in Florida today. Reporters asking him about the terror attack and about his plan during his campaign for a Muslim ban in this country. His nominee for National Security Advisor, retired Lieutenant General Michael Flynn, was right there behind him.
In light of the violence in Europe with Turkey on Monday, have you spoken to President Obama since then?
What's going on is credible. We have intelligence here right now. What's going on is credible.
Has it caused you to rethink or reevaluate your plans to create a Muslim presence or ban Muslim immigration in the United States?
Hey, you know my plans all along, and I've been proven to be right. 100% correct. What's happening is disgraceful.
You saw the security in Times Square, security being stepped up across Europe as well, especially at tourist sites where Americans will be among the holiday visitors. In London tonight at Buckingham Palace, there are strict new controls in place at this hour, and ABC's Lama Hassan is outside the palace tonight.
Tonight, Scotland Yard tightening security at one of London's biggest targets, Buckingham Palace. The threat level is at severe in London. Helicopters patrol from the air. On the ground, armed police are on high alert. Extra security barriers now in place. All the roads around the palace will be closed off for 2 hours during the famous tourist attraction, Changing of the Guard. Tonight, Queen Elizabeth and Prince Philip, normally at their estate for their Christmas holiday, are at Buckingham Palace, but not for security. The palace telling ABC News both are suffering from, quote, heavy colds.
Lama Hassan with us live from Buckingham Palace tonight, which brings us to the other headline there in London. Not only security concerns, but concerns over the health of the Queen and the Prince. What more do we know?
Oh, absolutely, David. We are being assured tonight that there is no cause for concern. The Queen and Prince Philip have simply decided to delay their trip to Sandringham because they have these heavy colds. David?
Lama Hassan with us from Buckingham Palace. Lama, thank you.